What'd you say? You want to go camping?
You almost had road rage?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know what the heck is going on with me. This is not consecutively, but third day I've had very strong PMS. I will admit it.
Do you think a lot of women admit this stuff? Or do you think they hide it, be like, no, what's your problem?
I don't know. It's hard to say because maybe some people don't recognize it as PMS. Mm-hmm. I can immediately, not immediately, this time actually, I didn't even recognize it. But it's like a flip of a switch. And that's why I'm like, well, duh, it has to be PMS because there's nothing that like happened to make me feel this way. There's nothing that like
I stayed out of your way all day today.
You were really nice. Well, today you didn't know I was PMSing.
Well, I still stayed out of your way.
Did you like feel it when you woke up?
I woke up and be like,
something's off. Well, 2 days ago, I had a rough day. No, 3 days ago, I had a rough day. The next day, still had a rough day. Also, cried tons, which I haven't done in a long time. Why are you laughing?
Because the majority of our audience are male. It's like you're just
well, maybe they can relate to you.
No, listen, I know. Teach the boys. Teach the boys.
Yeah, and you were great because the first day you didn't really also didn't know what was going on. You were just like, did I do something wrong?
Why is she mad at me? Yeah. First day I was like, did I do something wrong? Second day I was like, hey, what did I do?
Yeah. So then we had a conversation. I was like, no, it's my hormones. I have no idea what is happening. I feel like for the last year I've been pretty moderate with like PMS symptoms. For some reason this month has been, maybe I'm pregnant.
That's cool. Not for me because you can't.
Well, from someone.
Yeah.
Anyway, and for some reason this month was like a blow up. And then today again, I woke up and I was like, I feel fine. And then we got in the car. First of all, yelled at the kids a million times to get ready. So. Also, on top of it, we were like late to leave the house because I was like, when you're not there, well, it's not like you help me anyway in the mornings, but
yeah. I'm on the golf simulator.
You are. But today felt extra like we were behind. And I think it's because the boys kind of like took their time to get ready. By the time we were eating, it was like 8:15. We have to leave at 8:30.
Also, you have this tendency of like being the yes parent so easily. So it's like, because to me, if they have to leave in 20 minutes, I'm like, sorry, dude, you can't have breakfast. Like you took too long to get ready.
I think I'm guilty.
Sure, I'll make you eggs and bacon and sausage.
Well, I think I feel guilty because in my head, I'm like, I'd rather give you a good breakfast for the day than you eating a bar on your way to school. Mm-hmm. And for you, I think you're like, hey, you missed your opportunity. Mm-hmm. Have your bar. Yep. It just fly like you don't even think about it twice, right?
Yeah, 0 fucks given.
I give a lot.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's why you're late.
I give more than 0.
Yeah.
And it's exactly it. And then we ended up being late. Guess what? Get in the car. I have 6 miles left till I'm empty. Which I knew was going to happen because yesterday we were driving home.
There's a gas station, fortunately.
Okay. Well, get this.
It's out of order.
No, first of all, we're already late. It's like 8:45. Uh-huh. And I'm like,
You left the house at 8:45?
We left at 8:42. And I was like, okay, if we stop by the gas station, we're going to be for sure late to school. Yeah. So we pull out. There is a gas station like next to the Walmart. Pull in. Every single one is taken. And there's a line of people waiting for the next person. Like there's already people waiting. And I was like, I just went.
You did that in the car with the kids?
And I kept saying like, this is the worst. And the boys are just like quiet. Because I think they can tell when I'm actually like
pissed off. You're very patient. Yeah.
Because something's off. And I was just like, ugh. And then I drove off.
By the way,
really
this is
fast.
where Harper gets her things. I'm like, Harper, we can't go outside. She goes,
that's totally where she gets it. Because every once in a while I do it. It's very rare, but I do it. I think what happens with me is I am very patient, but it ends up like accumulating over time. Okay. And then it's like, what is it called? Like when you shake a bottle and it just like erupts.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. Or just paired with like all the hormone stuff. Anyway, We're driving out. And then I kind of like start breathing.
Let me pause you for a second. Kyle, do you have these conversations with your spouse? like menstruation, like emotions and hormones and stuff like that? Are we the only ones that do these talks?
We talk about it a lot.
Do you guys do these talks?
I mean, I try to avoid it.
I know, rightfully so.
But the thing is, I need to tell you about them.
Okay.
Because it makes me feel better and like
Okay.
I'm not crazy.
No, I believe you. Go for it.
Might be a little
I
crazy.
just spent 4 hours golfing.
I
and
know,
then
you
waiting
feel- you're cool.
2 hours, cool as a cucumber. I spent 2 hours to wait for my damn burger to show up because the waitress forgot to put the order in. And it's fine. It's fine. It's completely fine.
It's fine.
I was in the food server industry. I know what it's like to, but I was waiting 2 hours for my
And you were
burger to
late.
show up. That's why, in fact, the first time when I said, "Hey, let's push the timeline," the like push out an extra 30 minutes, that was when she realized she forgot it, and then it took another 45 minutes to show.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Were all your burgers late or just yours?
Well, it's just two of us. Tyler and I just ordered it. Mark took off early. First time getting recognized on the golf course today.
You did?
Yep. I was putting my stuff away. Somebody pulled up. They're like, "Hey, like your videos." And yeah, it was cool. It
You
was
felt
first time.
really cool.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
How'd you play?
I played well. I hit a 288-yard drive.
Wow.
Straight down the freaking barrel.
Oh.
Straight down the barrel.
What hole was that?
Hole 14. The first hole, 230, straight down the barrel. Stopped 10 yards right before the water. It was a perfect shot. I was living pretty well
feel
today.
good.
I was living really well today.
Well, okay, so I have to finish my story.
Yeah. Enough about
So
me.
then
Tell
we're
me about your day.
I feel like I need to release some of this
Release
pent
away.
up aggression.
Release away.
It helps me.
Chug this Pinot Grigio. Just go ahead.
Also, I never drink on our podcast anymore.
Okay.
Today,
Hey, it's been 3 weeks that you haven't drank. So
no,
you don't
that's
say
not
you
true.
Never, it's
I
been
feel
3.
I feel like it's been like
Sure.
6 months.
Okay. I'm doing the thing where you correct me on timelines. 6 months. 6 months.
I feel like I
with 4
rarely
episodes
do.
a month. You're saying 6 months?
Yeah, I feel like I rarely
No.
do.
If-
I
if-
will every once in a while.
If you want me to play conservative, it's been probably 4 episodes that you haven't had a cocktail.
No, I think it's been more.
Kyle?
Okay. Kyle doesn't remember. I paid him.
Paid him?
Okay, so
Her
then
Venmo is Irina.
Matsukin,
You could bribe her now.
he's gonna send a invoice request. Okay. Anyway, as I'm driving, I pull out and I recognize that I'm being rash and a little bit aggressive.
Okay.
And of course, all these cars are driving like the worst. I'm like, who's driving out here today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, go on.
Oh my gosh. It's probably just normal people driving.
Yeah, they're just driving normally. Like more
But I was pissed because everybody was driving either slow
Okay.
or getting in my way.
Yep. Yeah.
And anyway, and then I was like, okay, you're being crazy, girl.
Yeah.
I start breathing. I start taking deep breaths.
Did you do the
Exhale.
4 seconds in, 4 seconds
Yeah,
out, 4
I did
second
the
hold?
exhale, hold. Yeah, tried, and then I was like breathing normally, and then I turned the music on, and I just like quietly am driving, and then I forget that I'm out of gas.
Please don't tell me you ran out of gas.
No, otherwise you would have known if I ran out of gas.
yeah,
I would
you-
have texted you or called you
Do you know?
immediately.
Okay.
How horrible would that have been if I called you and you were golfing and you had to come
Hun,
rescue me?
This is the most terrible situation I could ever imagine, where my Friday golfs are like my recharging days. I look forward to it. It's like a kid like every morning on Fridays, it's like I'm going to Disneyland. I'm like, I'm going to play the best. It's the most optimistic side of things that you could have. You're like, I'm going to play my best game today.
Right.
And of course you don't, but you're like, I'm going to play my best game. And so I can only imagine I'm on like the 4th hole. I still got 18 total to play, and getting a call from you be like, I ran out of gas. And then me being like, I just hit a 250-yard straight drive. Do you really want me to leave right now?
Yeah, weigh your options.
And I'm
girl.
like,
that
I'm only
would be the worst
imagining
day for you.
it would be so bad because like I know you would want me to come and
You know
get
what
you.
I would do if it was your Friday? I don't think I would even call you. I'd like call my brother.
No, you would still call me, or no, here's what you would do.
I would text
you.
you.
Would text me and you would tell me what would be up. And then I would feel guilty being like, I need to go there because I'm having fun here.
Yeah.
But still, when you're on like the 4th hole, like you still got a ways back to get back to. And I'm walking, like I'm not riding a golf
right.
cart. And then what I would imagine
so
is
sad.
I'd get in the car, I'd get out of the golf course, I'd get on the main road, and then you would text me and be like, my brother's coming to get us. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then
you'd
maybe
be
like, well, now I'm between a rock and a hard place. Like,
do I go back?
what
Do I just go home?
Yeah. Like at that point,
I thought about it. I was like, well, so
I would tell you to be like, go get an Uber.
Yeah.
Get the Uber XL Black and then just
have them drop your kids off.
Yeah, I will pay the $60 for you to take the kids to school on a Suburban. On a Suburban.
Well, I forget that I'm out of gas, and all of a sudden I look down and it says 2 miles until empty.
I get my palms sweaty.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh. So then I pull into the gas station across from the school, the Chevron over there, and it was literally like 1 mile when I got to the.
Yeah.
Luckily, that one was open. I like literally filled up maybe for $20 because I was like, I have no time. School, I had 5 minutes left till the first bell rang. And when the first bell rings, the kids have to go to class and they get another 5 minutes. So basically 10 or so less minutes.
Yeah.
Luckily, it's like next to school. I like fill up for like $20, get out of there. Of course, Beckham starts getting out. Mom, can I fill it up for you? I'm like, get in the car.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah. And then we got there. So the first bell rings at 9:05 for them to all get to class. We got there at 9:04. Don't know how we made it. And the whole time, Jack is like, well, Mom,
don't you have to walk them in after a certain time?
Yeah, and that was my thing is I don't want to walk you. Jack goes, Mom, well, it's okay if we're late by like a few minutes. I was like, no, you don't get it. I don't want to walk you into school.
Yeah.
I'm like I was actually dressed pretty normally and I had my makeup done. But I was like, I don't want to walk you in. I'm going to have to get Harper out. I can't leave her in the car.
Yeah.
Like, that's just going to be a whole thing.
It's that more
Please don't make me do that.
Yeah,
so, of course, I'm racing. We made it barely.
Yeah.
I'm like, love you, bye. See ya.
Love you, bye. Yeah. Well, this is what happens when you go, oh, you want me to make you eggs and bacon and sausage?
No, this was my bad because we were driving home yesterday from Jack's practice.
Yeah.
And I was like 7 miles till empty. And I was like, I don't want to stop. I'll just do it in the morning. Always the worst idea to say I'm going to fill up in the morning because that's the day you're going to be late.
That's the day that you're going to be late. Well,
or something happens and Oh, well.
Yeah, Philip's like that.
I would like to say I learned my lesson, but we both know
no, you didn't. Again. You don't learn these lessons. You just learn
it's going to happen again. But you know what's crazy? I don't want to jinx it. Actually, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say I have not ran out of gas yet, but I just probably jinxed it.
You don't understand how pissed I would be.
Yeah.
If you ran
What
out
is
of
the
gas.
lowest you've let your car get to? Also,
so there's no fuel in the engine?
No, before like filling up.
What do you mean? Till I ran out of gas. I've done that when we were
have?
married. When I had that 63 Ford F100 in Seattle.
Did that one?
My fuel gauge didn't work,
Yeah.
so I had to.
Well, I had that happen once.
Okay, so you're saying with a working fuel gauge. I've never run out of gas with a working fuel gauge.
But how? Oh, I guess you can't tell how many miles on your truck.
Yeah, it says.
It says.
Yeah, it'll say. Like I've never gotten below. Well, okay. Here's the thing. You and I, we went camping last year. We were driving from
that was
Oregon,
a close one.
And I think we got to like 3 miles on a diesel truck pulling a 30-foot camper. That goes
pretty
by
scary.
fast.
Yeah.
So that 3 is not an accurate 3. That 3 is like 1.5.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was actually legitimately nervous because I'm like, if we run out of gas, like there's nowhere to go. We were in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
How do we?
Well,
and you need to fill up a lot to get to the next gas station.
Well, yeah. What would happen is we had our friends. We asked them when they're driving behind us. We asked them to like stick close to us in case we need to like.
Which is good.
We
Imagine
run out
if
of
we were
gas.
on our own.
So here's what happened. It was fortunately I spoke to them. They would follow us. If I ran out of gas and we're still like 5 miles away from a gas station, or the next exit for the gas station, they would go, either I'd go with them or they would go run to the gas station, buy a canister, fill it up with fuel, bring it back.
So much like extra work.
It would be a lot of extra work. Essentially, it would be a full hour delay for everybody.
Mm-hmm. And this is on our way home, so
Correct.
It's not like we're not like excited about like getting to the camping spot. It's like already after a long weekend.
Yeah.
You're already tired.
You're pulling. Oh,
Wow.
Sorry, folks.
How unprofessional.
Sorry, folks. I like your new vehicle in the driveway, by the way.
Oh, mine?
Yeah, you
Thank
like
you.
it? Yeah, you like it? Does it go fast?
It's a sponsorship.
It's a sponsorship. I got a new Ryobi riding lawnmower delivered today to the house. It was supposed to be showing up. First of all, they're hounding me for like a week because apparently like you have to like connect with the delivery company. And so I finally got back to the delivery company because it's like a freight company. And they're like, hey, we got this tractor for you. And I was like, I don't have a tractor. And they're like, well, I guess it's marketed as a tractor. It's
you're like, I did not buy a tractor.
Like, I don't have a tractor. And they're supposed to be here at 4. I called them this morning and I was like, yeah.
They're early?
They're like, cool, he'll be there at 4. And then they texted me at 3. And then all of a sudden, I get a text at 1. They go, hey, the driver's there. And I'm like, and then he sends me a picture of like the house number. He goes, is this the correct one? And it's completely, I'm not going to say out loud what our house number is, but it's a complete like backwards, like, compilation of the numbers. And I go, that's not my house. And then I sent them the right house number and then they rerouted to them.
So that was the wrong house?
Yeah. And I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, are you dyslexic? Like, so it was cool. So it's cool. It's a riding lawnmower. They're advertising as a tractor. It has like a little bed in the back, a little, looks like a 36-inch by 36-inch bed. We went to the house. I don't know if you want to talk about it. I don't know if you want to talk about it. I was going to say,
speaking of lawnmowers.
Yeah, we went to the house. You saw the house for the first time.
I saw the house that we bought.
For the first time.
House for the very first time.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
And
we dry heaved.
Both of us did.
Yeah.
I was plugging my nose for...
Harper plugged her nose. She was with us.
Harper's
like, it's stinky. And I was like, no, it's not stinky anymore. She goes, no,
it's still stinky. Well, this backyard had like 7, 8 lawnmowers in it.
We counted 8.
Like taken apart.
We counted 7.5 actually. Because one had just the cutting deck and nothing else on it. We had
there was
rusted out 7.5 lawnmowers.
Seemed like whoever owned the house was like fixing them up or something, but they were just laying around the whole
guy
backyard.
who owned the house, I'm assuming this is a story. So we bought the house. It was an estate sale. The gentleman passed away. The family lives at estate. The property was an estate thing, so make sure the family that inherits the money, they don't have to pay the taxes on it. It's a smart thing to do.
Right.
It's abandoned, meaning like his clothes were there, his like
couches,
garage was there, the couch was there, the TV was there, like
printer. There was so many
everything.
things there.
There's some pictures, some artifacts, and I'm assuming what I'm kind of compiling from this, like forensics is. The guy was married. I'm assuming his wife either separated from him, but I'm probably thinking like she passed away. This guy kept every newspaper.
Because there's some feminine things in the house, like curtains that are like lacy or cute, and there's like a little fan hanging on the wall. So you could tell at some point there was like a woman or a girl living there.
He was definitely a handyman guy, definitely a grease monkey, because he had handyman magazines. He had from like 1992. He had newspapers. Well, this is not in terms of handyman, but like he had newspapers since 80s. And then his garage still had like all like parts off of cars and light fixtures and all that stuff. So he was definitely a tinker. And then having 7.5 lawnmowers in the backyard.
A hoarder.
He was like, well, I don't think he was hoarding. I think he was one of those. He does
just
this
needed
thing.
Something to do.
My dad did this thing where he had a hard time throwing away stuff because he thought he could just borrow parts from things
and fix it.
Yeah, so I kind of relate to what he was doing. He's probably keeping lawnmowers, thinking like, I'm gonna fix this lawnmower based off of those 2 lawnmowers, and then that part just kept growing.
Right. And keeping himself probably busy.
Keeping him busy, distracted, and all that stuff. So I kind of get it. So you saw it for the first time. You walked in. What was your first impression when you walked in?
That was my first impression.
Yeah.
I think, we talked about this yesterday. Like, I knew it was going to be bad, but it was bad walking in.
Kyle said that I actually oversold the place compared to
he saw. Yeah.
He's like you oversold. Like he's like, it's much worse shape than I thought it would be.
It was, especially like the kitchen area. I think it's almost because of how bad it is, it's hard to see the potential. Like, I feel like I could still see it, but it's pretty bad.
Kyle, why do you feel like it was in worse condition that I sold it for? Because I didn't really sell it. I kept it, like, I kept saying, like, this is a POS.
Yeah.
I feel like once you get it to like the bare bones, it'll look a lot better.
It's
I feel
just
like
the stuff in it.
All the stuff makes it kind of feel overwhelming, and it's like
the dirty carpet, the smelly fridge, the.
I think a
mold
lot
on
of
the
it is
cabinets.
that, yeah, like so much stuff was left and not
The
cleaned
pantry's
up.
still full.
Nothing was clean. Usually you know, buy a house and at least they try a little bit to clean it up.
They take
No.
stuff out of it. Yeah.
No, there was hair in the sink of the freaking bathroom.
You're overreacting with the hair in this thing.
I am not. There was
because
hair. There was
you don't
hair.
expect people. Well, you kind of do actually, but like
No,
when you move
people
out of the
clean-
house, you would be like, let
Of
me get
course.
this hair out of here.
That's common decency. Like I said, most people clean the
Well, honey,
house.
he didn't have a chance. He passed
know.
away.
Well, not even him, but like even the state didn't even.
The estate.
They don't care.
Here's the thing. And this is kind of my forensics brain. I feel like he didn't
you an
have a
investigator?
good relationship. Yeah, this is the Mosby boys on the case. I'm wondering if he didn't have a good relationship with his kids because they kind of came in and they picked and chose what they're going to take.
Yeah.
And then they just left everything else.
Yeah.
And it almost seems like they just took whatever was salvageable.
Salvageable.
And
To keep or sell.
it was sad for me. Okay, because if my dad passed away, and I don't have the greatest relationship with my dad, but if my dad passed away on a bad note, I think to kind of honor his spirit in his life, I think what I would do is I would go and take anything that had a connection to him, like clothing, all the clothing, like maybe furniture, and then and maybe tools, and I would take that had a resemblance of him, and I would donate it to the thrift store, right? Mm-hmm. So somebody else can buy it and kind of live on. Versus going, hey, anything that's there, just sell it off with the house and let somebody else deal with it. To me, that seems far more disrespectful to the person's life, whether it's a good life or a bad life, whatever you want to justify it. I just feel like that part was when there's certain things, if you have a hobby for something like mechanics or photography and you left things that are photography or mechanics related, including something intimate like clothes, you'd imagine that would be handled more respectfully than kind of going, let somebody else deal with this.
I wonder if he just had so many things as well, and they did take a lot of stuff that was meaningful, and then everything
We're only
else,
seeing
we're only seeing such a small amount.
It could be because it's not like everything was left.
No, I mean, yeah. So but that's weird that they took all the clothes except for this one weird closet, which makes me think they just forgot. Like they forgot to look in that closet. I don't know.
Maybe they did. Actually, here's what I wonder. They were like, well, that's already full. Like there's nowhere else to put.
The box is full.
So they
Just
kind of
leave
left
it.
the remainder stuff, which it wasn't a lot. But they still.
Or if they hired somebody to box everything up for them, and they just didn't have enough room.
Yeah, maybe they did.
Yeah.
Maybe they did.
Because it wasn't everything. It's the most random things that are left.
I hope we didn't come off disrespectful when we walked through the house, because I don't want, I was thinking about this. I was like, because we kept looking at stuff and kind of judging a person by it. And can you imagine if, we passed away and somebody else came in after us and started judging us based off of our life? Fortunately, I don't think we were disrespectful.
No, I think we weren't. I think we were more this is kind of cool. Like finding stuff from 1992 magazines and newspapers. I think for the most part, it was the things we found I thought were kind of cool.
Let me ask you this, because I agree.
It's more like the house itself was
yeah.
Wow, this is in terrible condition.
I agree on that, and I think it's.
But yeah, I hope so too.
He was like a handyman, grease monkey, fiddling with car engines kind of guy.
I also wonder how long he was
by himself.
Well, even after he passed away, how long the house was just there. And just kept collecting dust and deteriorating, because there's a fridge in that house.
Yeah.
That Alex decided to open.
Bad move.
It was the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life.
I was not acting, and people will see this video. I was dry heaving 3 or 4 times.
Because when you opened it, you got the whiff. I got after you closed it, I walked by and was like, oh my gosh, I could smell it. I can only imagine what the whiff was like when you.
I got a shotgun to my face. Could
you imagine if you just passed out?
Yeah. Yeah, it was
But yeah, he was probably a cool guy who loved collecting things and just
staying busy
and being like a handyman. He is the garage. I think you're right. Beckham is going to have so much fun going through that stuff. There's so much stuff to go through.
Well, he's not going to go through all that stuff because we're cleaning it out on Monday. I'm just going to set some stuff aside.
Oh, I thought you were going to let him dig through it.
I mean, do you want to pull him out of school and then just have him be like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, it's just going to be a 30-minute video of Beckham going, whoa, whoa, Dad,
hey,
look,
Dad,
hey,
Dad.
It's kind of like going through your grandfather's, because I remember in Russia, my grandfather's still alive. He's like 92, 93. In Russia, my grandfather had this almost like a miniature carport shed looking thing. It's just a carport thing. And, there's a workbench under the carport and all these like wooden drawers. And the adventure was trying to pull every drawer out and finding old files, metal files and saws and old hammers and old chisels. Nothing's, kept up, but finding old stuff like that.
I do remember that too. Yeah. I remember always going through like my grandma's stuff or my grandpa's stuff as well. When I was little, it almost felt like you were like in this like movie, like a treasure hunt movie or something where you're like digging for something meaningful. And I loved that as a kid. So I think it is that kind of excitement and adventure behind it.
What were your thoughts? And because we've introduced this part already of the basement.
The basement? That's a rough space.
Yeah. It's an unfinished basement, and you can't make it finished because the concrete walls only go so high. So basically,
what if you still just like at least make it not like livable, but at least make it nice to be in, even though you only use it as like to get to the furnace or storage.
Right.
What if you still make it just enough, like where you put concrete down or something?
Okay.
Just so it's like more appealing, because like you walk in and it's like that dirt smell and it really hits you.
Well, the reason it's a dirt smell is because you're standing on dirt.
Yeah. And there's just piles of dirt. And I will say it's a lot bigger, that basement, than I thought it would be.
Well, that you're being lied to, because the reason why you can't make it a livable basement is when you pour the foundation for a basement, the walls have to go below or at where the floor is, right? Usually about 12 inches or 16 inches below the flooring, because you got your footings that go there. This basement, they stop, and then there's a dirt pile on the side. So your footings essentially stop about 3 feet below the part that you're actually walking on. So there's no footings below it. So you cannot make it into a livable space unless you got somehow, which is not possible, a way to have this house craned up off the ground, pour footings, and then put it on top of it, which you cannot do.
What if you just put carpet
on top rug. Of dirt with the dirt mounds going onto the side?
Just a cute like runner goes.
That part is getting closed off.
I just feel
it's getting closed off.
What? The stairs?
Yeah.
No, and I think that's the right move, is only have it used for like through the outside, like you wanted to do, for like to see the furnace, and that's it. It should not be used for anything else.
The furnace gets moved into the house, or the furnace has like a crawl space that you walk through or you go through. That is
to
it.
Access it.
To access it. That is it. There's no. You can't put an exterior door to it because the footings don't go low enough.
It's just like shouldn't have been done.
It should not have been done.
Yeah.
Somehow this guy decides to create this thing, dig a hole through.
I wonder, because obviously it's not done the right way.
No, there's just no.
I wonder who would even do that. Like, did he just find somebody that was like, sure.
I'm sure he did himself. There's the shovel still in the.
There is a shovel still in there.
Which was very creepy because you kind of wonder like.
What else is under that dirt?
Well, yeah.
I wish I was like, you could bury a body here. And there's a shovel.
Yeah. This becomes a murder mystery podcast now.
Ooh, what's in the abandoned house?
Do you think we need to do an episode where we start digging stuff up?
We should. Just the dirt?
Just the dirt and see if you find
digging bones.
Well, here's an interesting thing. Do you think, okay, let's say somebody told you, hey, there's a body there. Do you shoot a video with discovering a body and deal with the repercussions of haters going like, you're being you're desecrating the dead, like Logan Paul in the Suicide Forest? Or do you not cover that and not add that to the storyline?
I would get a professional to dig that up, but shoot
A professional digger?
Yeah.
Who's a
I don't know who you would call.
You probably have to be like somebody that works at a funeral home.
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
Like that.
But then also maybe include that in like as part of a video, but not do it yourself. I feel like you could definitely get canceled for something like that.
Well, I think you would get canceled if you had an inappropriate response. If you like, so when Logan Paul got canceled for something like that, he was like, they were kind of like laughing and doing this whole like, oh my, you know, and then you go
Which
and
they
like,
got
you're
canceled
being
and came back
you're disrespectful. But if you go like, oh, it's what's going on here kind of thing. Like,
I think the only way to like, you wouldn't get canceled if you like stumbled upon a body or like bones or something.
how you react to that stumbling.
And how you react to it. Yeah. Which I think both of us would be like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Kyle, what are your thoughts on this topic?
Why are we even talking about it? Is it a potential?
I disagree. I think if you've like found a body, you would just have to like delete the episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Why that thought?
I don't know.
It's a hard topic.
Because always
I feel like that you can't have like content like
dead
that.
Content like that.
Yeah.
I mean, at most,
even if you blurt it out and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
At most, you could like maybe take a picture of the shovel and just do an episode where you're just talking to the camera
about
and
it.
you're like, this is what happened.
Yeah.
Like you can't like show digging and. That's my opinion. Yeah.
They would take that down probably anyway.
Well, I know that the rules and regulation when you sign off the thing, it says like, are children taken advantage of? Is there drug use? Is there illegal activity? Is there substance abuse? And I'm trying to remember. There's like
I feel like YouTube would take it down if you're actually showing like a bone. But if you're just digging and then you
would show bone. Everything would be blurred.
Yeah.
You would have to be like
oh my gosh,
that is
and then you talk about it
after. Is that what I
after.
think it is, kind of thing? And you talk about it. But I don't know. I don't really. I'm concerned about what YouTube would think. I'm more concerned about like, would people want to hear that? Because in a sense, it's kind of like a documentary at that point where you go,
you're talking.
Why is this thing here?
I think you'd have to be very, very careful about how you approach and film all of that. But obviously, I've never done it before, so.
Yeah, it'll be.
I will say the backyard of this house is very big, which is great.
Yeah, we can park some trailers.
I could tell it was cute at one point because of just like the stones and the way there's like a little step up to like this other part of the backyard. I'm sure at one time it was like very well maintained and stuff. Now, obviously, weeds growing everywhere and stuff. But
it's so tough.
There's a lot of trees too.
Yeah, it's tough because we've moved plenty of times, you and I. And
thanks for including me.
But things have never been like, possessions have never been really left behind. And so when there's no possessions and just walls, then you don't really have a storyline to base anything off of anybody. Like when we were looking at this house, there was an old early 70s, late 80s Cadillac in the garage and one in the backyard.
Bad Cad.
Yeah, the bad Cad. He had a license plate.
That said bad
and
Cad.
So you kind of like when you see things like they sold it on Facebook and all that stuff, but when you see things like that, you kind of create an image of a person, and the house is no longer just a house; it's part of a person. So when things are left, that's what's I think the weirdest part is when we've moved enough times, no house had any remnants of a person.
It's just a house.
A person's spirit, a person's soul, a person's identity. It was just a house. It was just an empty house.
And this, you're actually seeing these like parts of this person.
Exactly left.
Yeah. So it is, it feels a little bit more, I know, haunted house. I mean, it does feel a little bit or a lot different.
All the tools are going to get moved in the middle of the night next day. And then I'll be like, Kyle,
where are they? Yeah.
The freak happened here? Well,
we'll just have to honor this person who lived here by making this house super cute.
I think the honoring of this person will happen, being somebody who is somebody who tinkers with projects and cars, and I think I relate to the previous owner more on that aspect. And I think as long as we make the shop space very cool, if there is any energy of this person like still left in this garage or this building, I think that part will be very satisfied, because any grease monkey wants a good
shop space.
A good shop space. Yeah. And if this person and their soul was a person of projects, I think we'll do the person an honorable thing.
Yeah. Seeing how just this house can be transformed into like by renovating and making it, building, tinkering.
Justice.
Do it justice. Which, I don't know what it looked like back in when it was first built in 1961. It would be kind of interesting to see.
Yeah.
Did you see any pictures of what
I have not.
Fresh,
I haven't tried
freshly
going down
built.
the rabbit
That'd be
hole.
kind of interesting to see, and then even kind of because the house right now is white and like blue.
Baby blue. Yeah.
It's like this like baby blue.
Yeah.
Trim.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like this like thing on the door. What is that? Like a flower? What was that
like
on the door?
Painted on.
Yeah, it's like a wreath that's like painted on the front door.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I feel like it'd be kind of fun to stick with that like mid-century kind of theme throughout, but we can see to kind of do the era justice.
Yeah, I mean the house the time is mid-century time frame. The house structure is not a mid-century structure home. It's just a low ceiling.
It's just a low ceiling, but that kind of is a mid-century look. The low ceiling. And like that, like fireplace kind of looks a little bit mid-century.
Yeah, but you can turn that stuff into something
or it
else.
could be just more like a contemporary.
Yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see what we do. So this episode comes out on Monday. So when you guys are listening to this episode, this is the first official day that we're clearing out the garage.
Monday.
Yeah.
It's happening. This is the first day, start of the project at this new house. First episode will come out of the tour in about, if you're listening to this on Monday, a few weeks.
Yeah, something like that. We'll have to see where we're at with Kyle.
And Mr. Builder is excited.
We have a few things on the
Mr. Builder is excited for...
I don't know if I'm excited. I'm not anxious.
I think you're anxious.
I think
there's a lot. There's a lot to do.
I need to bite my teeth in first.
Yeah.
I think after the first 2 days, I think I'll have
You'll kind of get a rhythm.
Yeah. Right now, I have this like anxiety of like.
Because it's hard to gauge it right now.
You're looking at
what is the workload?
You're looking at the whole elephant right now. You're not eating it bite at a time.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
So if you just take the garage, and then you're doing the roof.
No, I think the separator wall in the living room.
And then so the roof also is interesting because there's just a big tarp over part of the roof.
It's kind of a hodgepodge for sure.
Yeah, it is a hodgepodge. So we'll see. We'll
Are you really? Did you mean it that you're going to help me clear out the garage? Okay.
I can. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I did tell you if you're going to pay me, I'll clear out the garage.
I'll pay you.
If I can get babysitting, I can help you.
Okay, sounds like we're not getting babysitting and I'm not getting help. All right, thanks folks. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.